going to get the fish going so it can cook because it takes a little while. But we just want a thin layer of some oil. I like to use olive oil. Canola oil is another good oil to cook your fish with, or do any kind of pan searing because it has a layer of smoking point too. Butter just browns really quickly, and it's not as healthy. So what I've done is I just coated the halibuts. When I go to the store, I ask them to cut it into strips for me, so one less thing I have to do. And then I just coated it with the egg whites, and then I rolled it into the nuts. And so I just took my nuts and put them in the processor, and there should be a good sizzle. You know, I'm going to go up a little bit higher. Again, I'm not used to doing it on a tabletop skillet, but it's a similar concept when you're pan searing. And then you're going to get a nice crust and then flip them. And then on the directions, I usually stick them in the oven, but obviously we don't have that, so I'll let them finish cooking on top too. So I mixed hazelnuts and pistachio. You can do all different kinds of nuts. Whatever your favorite is. I add a little bit of salt and pepper to my nuts too, just to give some seasoning. And you could do this with other fish, cod or salmon would be good.
And you cut them into strips because then you can get more of the breading.
Actually, yeah, so you have more crusty part. And also, for cooking class purposes, they cook much faster than
sure.
Whole ones. So
at home, do you leave them whole?
No, I prefer the strips because you get, like you said, it's crusty. And it's not the breading; it's nuts, so there are a lot of nutrients for you. And then I made it's kind of like a spring relish to go with the fish. This could be used for lamb or chicken or fish. I think it would go with a lot of things. And I just did some raisins and pine nuts, toasted pine nuts, lots of mint, because again it's springtime, so I use whatever is in season. My mint's not ready yet, so I had to buy this one. And then some garlic and oil and some lemon. So we'll serve that with the fish when it's done cooking. You want pretty high heat when you're pan searing, because that's what gives you the crust. And then once the crust is set on all sides, then you can reduce your heat or stick it in the oven. Let's get in there. We'll let it. So these ones are risotto rice cakes. And does anyone do risotto? I really love it. Risotto you can just throw in anything, bell peppers, peas, broccoli, whatever you want. So I make a double batch and then use one batch for dinner and save the next batch to make into cakes. And it's the same, it's just like making risotto. You can, if you put chunks of vegetables in it, if you're not following the recipe exactly, and you put chunks, then I would just put it in like a food processor to make sure you have small pieces, otherwise your cakes are, you're going to have a big piece of broccoli in there or something. But I just did some herbs and, of course, Parmesan cheese is in there.
So what's inside? Just broccoli?
No, these ones are just herbs. And but you could throw in all kinds of vegetables.
Your risotto kind of little cake.
And then you just pat them into cakes. And then I roll mine in breadcrumbs, just to give the crust. And I like to fry these in a smaller pan, so you don't have to put as much oil in, but you have the oil at the sides, and my pan is not even, so I'm going to cheese. And I'm going to flip the halibut now. So we have a nice crust. The biggest mistake with doing fish and seafood is overcooking it. So once you get your crust done, if you're not familiar with cooking it at the beginning, make sure you're looking to make sure it's flaky all the way through. As soon as it's flaky and it's no longer transparent, and pull it off right away. Okay. So same thing, olive oil or canola for the rice cakes. Make sure your oil's hot before you stick it on too, otherwise it's going to saturate and sit in there for a while instead of get crispy right away. And when you do strips, summertime, I really hate turning on my my oven. So I just leave it on top of the pan too and cover it with a lid and reduce the heat to make it more like an oven. Okay. And then you can just test your oil with your breadcrumbs. It sizzles, so it's good, okay? Has anyone actually had rice cake? No? You can do it with rice cakes. I think you should use either a medium or a short grain rice, like I use arborio. But you can choose to do a brown rice or a white rice. It'll be good either way. But long grain, they don't stick very well because there's not enough starch content. And I'm using short. So I'm going to flip them one more time so you got kind of 4 sides on it. That's the halibut. So I'm going to have you, I'm going to have you go ahead and dish up your relish, and then I'll just pass the plates around and you can get your fish. Help yourself. So there's the relish.
You get it, huh?
You get to eat it. That's the point. Because usually if you don't taste it, you don't cook it, right? Oops, sorry. I'm going to have lots of recipes that, I'll make that sometimes, but you've never tasted it.
I know.
Not sure you want to go all that work. So this one fell apart, but you see how it's no longer transparent? It's getting pretty cooked through. We'll do it a couple more minutes and then I'm going to pull. And I think the rice cakes also, they're great. You could make double batches and I would put them into their patties and then you can freeze them for another meal or those days that you're in a hurry. Just take them out of the freezer in the morning before you leave for work and they'll be ready to pick up when you get home. Okay, and I'm going to also start passing around. You can taste the asparagus too. A lot of people are afraid of asparagus. I don't know if it's the flavor or you're wondering what to do with it. I just roasted these. I may have not put what I put on the recipe because I just put on what I add. I did the sage, parsley, and I also did garlic. I usually add garlic when I roast things. And you guys can just go ahead and take these. These are perfectly fine right out in the oven, or for Easter, I cut them up into little strips. And sorry, it's a little messy. So go ahead and here, I'll pass it over. And I put it in a salad with a mustard vinaigrette. So we ate them cold. I'm going to take the rice cakes off now. And you guys can go. A lot of people seem to be afraid of fish, but again, it's just don't overcook it, and you're going to have a nice fish. And in the summertime, all the fishes that I've cooked here, is easily done on the grill too. So when I do halibut on the grill, though, I do wrap it up in foil because it's very low fat content, so it sticks to the grill real easily. But yeah, everything can be done on the grill, hand searing.